everyone. It's me, Kirsten, and this is the It's Giving Mystical podcast. And this is your podcast for the week ahead, the week of May 30th. So we will transit into June this week, one major transition. I hope that you took time for this past week to really feel into and enjoy and dance with the magic of this new moon. The new moon that we had on the 26th or 27th, depending on where you are, was such a beautiful new moon, such a gifting new moon. So your ritual, your art always matters. Like your intention behind something, your desire to create change in this way or that way in your life, your desire to shift or clear out or transfigure things always matters. But sometimes we have the wind at our back, and that new moon really felt like this wind at your back. So I hope that you were able to take advantage of that. And I hope that you really are letting fall away some of these messages around like outsourcing your power, like outsourcing who knows better, especially when it comes to things like art, things like ritual, things like ceremony, things like the magic you're making in your own life. I hope that you're not giving away that power to someone else. Like, when I have time to do it this way, when I have time for everything to be perfect, then I will create magic, then I will create ritual, or then I will make it sacred, or then I will make it holy. I hope what you're starting to like understand or embody or believe in more is your own power. My shamanism teacher, Stephen, says self-referencing shaman, meaning like, yes, the medicine is potent. Yes, the lineage matters. Yes, there's respect that's kind of like baked into the system. And when the trees call to you, when the moon calls to you, when something says to you, like clean out that closet, or something says to you, send that email, or something says to you, take that walk, whatever the thing is, have that conversation, that you trust the impulse behind that. You trust that you know best, that this is like you are a magic maker. You are part of the current of the universe. And I hope that you begin to trust that. And, one of the things that can get in our way is this idea of perfectionism. So something like the new moon, we could think about a new moon ritual and we can think, well, I need a fire, or I need this kind of like essential oil, or I need this kind of crystal, or I need this kind of spaciousness or time. And yes, great, make the beauty in the way you want to make the beauty. And what do you have that you can work with right now? Like, what's available to you? Because the new moon was coming through with Gemini energy, there were these kind of like whispers, these messages, these Mercury missives coming in saying, have you thought about this? This matters to you. This mantra is on the horizon. This intention, this language is bubbling up. I hope that you grabbed it with two hands. For me, the mantra that came up was, it's safe to let go. I know what that means, but I also don't know what that means. And every time I say it, when I'm in meditation or when I'm just walking and I'm just allowing it to kind of become a sankalpa for me, and I just kind of like allow that to be true for my unconscious brain, for my soul, there's something that's relaxing in me and I don't even know, right? Like, we could kind of diagnose me and analyze that, or we can just say that the moon offered me that mantra and I'm going to trust it. And I don't need it to be perfect. I just kind of need it to be with me. So I hope that this moon also helped you anchor into your own power and your own magic a little bit more. Believe in what you're called to do more. Believe in what, how you're being called to kind of dance with the energy that's around us. There are some pretty significant movements happening, transits happening, a lot of energy moving from Pisces to Aries, a lot of energy moving into a Gemini. So there's this new wind on the horizon. And while I wouldn't say it feels totally like hope, because it's crazy out there, but there is this sense of, we have given external forces, external systems, our power, right? We've said, you do your thing and I will trust you. I will feed into the belief that you're here to keep me safe, that you have my best interest at heart. We've seen so many ways in which that is not the case. There's so many ways in which we're being called to move in ways that speak to, that honor, that celebrate our values. And there's something about the energy here that's like, you're starting to see that pay off a little bit. You might have been moving with that instinctively, or just because you had no other choice because you were backed into a corner. And now there's this muscle memory that's kicking into place. That's like, oh, right, when I'm faced with proof that the world is not as it seems, or the things that I thought I could trust or that would always be there are not always there, there's something I can fall back into within me that is eternal and stable and trustable and of integrity and of love. And so there's this like really beautiful thing happening where even though it's still hard, even though things still might be difficult, you're beginning to trust yourself more. I hope that as well. It's like layers of that, because I'd said that before, but in a different way. Noticing how this effort, this movement, this gesture, this hope that you're a reliable one in your own life, that you are your own best friend in that way, that's starting to kind of pay off, and you're starting to see the dividends of that, and the kind of the world meet you in that. The world kind of celebrate that in return. That's part of what was happening with that new moon. So beautiful. And the card I pulled for us this week is the sun. So obviously, we're always happy to see the sun. And it does speak to joy, it does speak to hopefulness, but more specifically, it really speaks to this idea of gratitude, this idea of presence, and this idea of confirmation bias, like checking your confirmation bias, checking your observation bias. The three messages that came through are: one, be present this week. Like look around and really notice what is. Don't notice what's gonna happen, what has happened, like what is today. Like when you look around, what's alive for you. I'm also being really called to like clean up my space. I'm not going anywhere, I don't think. Like I'm here. I love it here. I love my home. I love my life. Like I have every reason to be a little bit complacent right now, and I don't feel that way at all. I feel like power washing and cleaning out closets and cleaning out basement rooms and doing all that stuff, and it feels so good. My mom has always said to me, you want to change your life, clean out a closet. And there's something about that is really vivifying, really like life-giving right now. I don't know if you're having some similar experience, something that seems like it shouldn't be where you want to be, what you want to be doing, and yet you're getting deep satisfaction from it. So just like noticing what is and being present with it. And noticing like what's the next step. Like let's not get carried away. Let's like stay with what is, and let's really focus on the next thing. And just the calm that comes into your life when you really trust that that's enough. That's part of the practice this week. The other thing that's coming up that's along with that is the gratitude that unfolds when you stop and you look around and you notice what's already beautiful in your life, what's already working in your life. Notice what you've done, right? We power ahead on some road of accomplishment, some road of like, we're going to arrive one day and be safe and successful and happy and never have to stress again. And hopefully we're learning that there is no arrival. Here you are, like wherever you are, here you are. And so there's this sense of, okay, here I am. What have I done? Like really taking stock, looking around, noticing what's working for you, noticing what's beautiful in your life, and then praising yourself for what you've accomplished. Because I bet if you want to look back 1 month, 6 months, 1 year, and you have journal entries or you go through your photos and you remember where you were, something that's in your life that you are currently taking for granted, you fought very hard for. Like there's some part of your life that at one point was like a dream or a wish or a mantra or something you hoped for or a sankalpa, like my deepest desire is X. I bet you have it. Maybe you don't have everything, but I bet there's something. And so if you have something, are you grateful for it? Like, are you soaking that in? Are you taking that as validation, as confirmation that you are more powerful than you believe? That the world is on your side, that there is an unfolding happening in your own soul, but also in the world around you. And there's a co-creation that's constantly exchanging information, constantly building and creating together. So you wished for something and you have it. I hope you recognize that this week. I hope you celebrate that this week. I hope you let yourself feel all the good unfolding heart feeling of, I did that. Like I wanted that and I worked for it and I have it. And like, good on me, man. Good on me. I hope that that's part of your experience this week. And then related to all of that is this real sense of confirmation bias, observation bias, which means that we have a belief. If you don't already know what that means, which I'm sure you do, but like if you have a belief, our brain, our conscious brain is constantly scanning the environment to confirm what we already believe, to confirm what we already know, to confirm what we're already focused on. I heard this girl on TikTok talking about her neuroplasticity research. And she was talking about this idea that our brain is processing, and I don't know if these numbers are right, so we're like, take this with a grain of salt or do your own research, But she was saying that your brain is taking in, so get this, 11 million bits of information a second. 11 million like hits of stimulus of processing happening every second. Your conscious brain's only retaining 50 of those. And that's for good reason, right? It makes sense. Our brain would like fry if we were trying to process everything all the time. But that lines up with the data that says that 90% of what you, or 95%, 98% of what you thought yesterday, you will think again today. Whether you're aware of it or what level of aware of it you are, right? Because I sit and think about this stuff all day long and I'm barely aware of it. So you have a narrative that you're playing out. You have these beliefs, these like core beliefs, this core story, this myth that you're building. And most of the stuff you're taking in, you're holding on to because it confirms what you already believe. And our brain, our conscious brain in particular, has a negative bias. It means that it's trying to protect you. So it's trying to plan for contingencies, wants to make sure that you're safe, wants to make sure that you're doing the right thing, the safe thing, and the careful thing, and not causing any unnecessary pain or danger or conflict. That's what it thinks. And then it ends up putting you in all these kind of pickles because it's trying to use old tools to meet new situations, but that's a whole other conversation. And you want to just have a sense, and we talk about this a lot in Mystic Rising and the work that I do with people. One of the things we're trying to do is just broaden the lens. Because when you broaden the lens, when you're taking in more information, when you're zoomed back and able to see more of the frame, more of what's in the frame, you don't only have to choose this, right? If this is all we see, then we have to select something in here. If we zoom out, all of a sudden there's all these other things that we can take into account, that we can focus on, that we can have gratitude for, that we can have presence with. So there's something interesting that happens. It sounds simple. It sounds simple to widen the frame, but that's why we talk about reframing, right? All of this stuff comes to this idea of we're trying to allow ourselves to see new possibilities, to be open, even if we can't see them, to be open to the fact that there may be other possibilities. Where did I see that? Oh my God, couples therapy's back. If that's not my favorite show, I literally did a dance when I realized that was on. It's like I love her. I love watching these couples navigate things. I love watching them like their arc. I love everything about it. But if you notice, if you watch that show, you're looking at someone and you're like, well, obviously this is this, right? But they don't see it at all. And then, 6 episodes later, Orla will say something and they'll be like, oh my God, my mind is blown. I never knew it was possible to look at it that way. And one of the women, I can't remember exactly what she said, but she was convinced that he was doing this thing to hurt her. She was like, that's the only way you could read that situation. And Orla was like, that's not true. There's 1,000 ways you could read that situation. And she was like, no, there's only one true way. Okay, you like laugh when you're watching that happen, but we're all doing that on some level. Okay, so the reason I'm saying all of this is the sun coming in shows that there's a possibility to have more light in the room, for the frame to get a little wider, for you to get a little more, like a slightly different perspective on something that I think is going to feel really good. I think it's going to open things up in a way that actually allows more presence, allows more gratitude, allows more joy, allows more hope. So I feel really good about the sun card this week. I love the energy of like youth, awe, wonder, this sense of, oh, there's more than I imagined. There's more possible here than I imagined. So there's just a simple truth that you get more of what you look for. So when you're looking for things to be a disaster, and when you're looking for reasons to be afraid, and when you're looking for reasons to be hopeless, you will find it, especially in our world, especially the way media works in our world, especially with the pressure to like click and get likes and get attention and all of that. The drama is seductive, right? The negative drama, the fear mongering it's got a strong magnetic charge. And the energy this week is like, is that what you want? Right? To what end? To what end do we froth ourselves up in fear? Partially because we're afraid of the stillness. We're afraid of kind of the loneliness, the emptiness, the rage that exists under that exists with us. And the sun is saying, maybe you've done more work on that than you realize. Maybe there's more to appreciate and feel is beautiful about your life than you realize. Maybe instead of turning your attention to all the things that are not working, you can just take a moment to come back and to honor yourselves for the things you've accomplished that did work, the things you've built that you did want, the art you've made that does matter to you, right? That did propel you to the next stage. There's no wasted breath, there's no wasted life. Even the difficult moments, they get us somewhere. They're tracking us somewhere. They're taking us somewhere. They're creating pressure to create something, to create a movement towards something else. And the sun is just this, it always is a beautiful light, a joy, a hopefulness. But there's something about it this week that just feels like it's shining a new light on something that already exists, that you already can be like, oh, I love that. And just to spend a little more time in that energy. So just noticing where you're getting stuck, where you're hitting the walls, and noticing this idea of what else might be true. Byron Katie, she's my girl. Is this true? Is it absolutely true? And who would you be without that thought? Because you are not your thoughts. Right? Don't believe everything you think. You are not your thoughts. And so when you can get that distance, that's what meditation, all of these practices are just helping us get a little space, the beauty of space, whether it's in our perspective, whether it's from our thoughts, whether it's like in our lives. I also encourage you this week to find some time to do nothing. Find some time to stare at a tree. Find some time to watch the birds. Find the time to have a cup of tea. Like invite spaciousness into your life and allow that to be a nurturing thing. Allow that to be a nourishing thing. Okay, I hope that's helpful. The sun. Happy baby. It's good. Allow yourself to feel good this week. It's a blessing. Not every week is a sun one. So, ride that wave all the way to the shore. I'll talk to you later. Bye.